The cows will be looking at you again this morning, won't they?
I can't see them, it's still dark, but they'll be here very shortly, I tell you.
I tell you now, down in the port, we would have had 3 ram raids at least by now. Come on, people, wake up here.
Relive some of our best bits from 2012 now at 5AA.com.au.
Yeah, the last time something clipped out, I ended up on YouTube. That was great.
We're fired up for 2013, and I'm really looking forward to joining Jane Riley in the studio from January the 14th on 3095, Adelaide's 5AA.
Interactive Radio.
Tweet at 1395 5AA.
Peter Godfrey.
18 past 5. Let's head across to New Zealand. Selwyn Manning from livenews.co.nz joins us. G'day, Selwyn. How's things this morning?
Yeah, not too bad, Peter. Pretty good. Weather-wise, it's still a bit grey. We've had a few weeks of this awful grey weather.
Yeah.
This is in Auckland, that is. The rest of the country has been having pretty nice weather most of the time.
Okay. Hey, we got some politics to talk about, but more important issues first of all. Dogs learning to drive cars in New Zealand.
Well, there you go.
You can tell us a bit more about this, can you?
Maybe they'll be a bit better than the human variety, who can tell? But,
well, we've seen Motor Patrol on the TV here. We know what some of your drivers are like on your motorways.
I can't defend myself in our country on that score, I'm sure. This is an initiative between the SPCA and Mini, the car manufacturer, and on the Facebook page they explain it. They say every year the SPCA needs to find homes for hundreds of dogs like Porter. Now, Porter is this dog that you may see on YouTube, etc., who's learning to drive a car. And the SPCA's message is, don't write these dogs off. They might be a motley-looking bunch, but if we can teach them to drive, imagine what you can do with them. So they're kind of giving them a bit of personality.
Yeah.
They've got an initiative, isn't it?
Yeah, what a great, clever initiative to do that. Yeah, indeed. You can teach old dogs new tricks, quite clearly.
Absolutely. Even old ones.
Yeah. There's hope for you and me yet,
testify to that, Peter. But this dog Porter, he was showing off his driving lessons on Campbell Live program, which is one of the biggest programs on television here in New Zealand. So that's on the 3 network, and well, what can you say?
Is he the big shaggy one, the sort of the browny shaggy one? I think
with his paw up on the steering wheel.
He looks very relaxed and casual.
If he could, he'd put his elbow out the window, I think. So I think I was just saying to you off air, Peter, that I had a similar experience. So it wasn't so controlled, and there wasn't a lot of teaching about it. My wife and I were doing some shopping in a supermarket. This is about 5-6 years ago, I guess. And over the loudspeaker came, the owners of such and such a car, can you go to the car park urgently? So scooted out there, and there's our car totaled at the bottom of the thing. I had a German Shepherd at the time, and his name was Robert, and he had got into the driver's seat of the car. I had the windows down a little bit so he could get some fresh air, and he'd knocked the gear lever off and also the brake, and had taken off down the car park. Luckily, no one was hurt, but apparently he was barking with his head out the window all the way down this slow incline.
Saying, look at me. Look at me,
and his German Shepherd big woof as he went past people, and he hit the back of a big four-wheel drive with huge rhubarb. We call them bull bars here. So that wasn't even scratched, but our car was totaled. It looked like a banana. Okay. And so that was Robert. It was the kind of thing, if the dog had a 21st party, if they lived that long, it would have been the tale that we would have told.
Oh, what an extraordinary story. Goodness me.
Without trying to steal the SPCA's thunder and Mini, it's a great initiative, and what can you say? It's just a very clever one.
And they obviously don't let them just roll down a hill as your dog did.
No.
It's a little bit more controlled.
A little bit more controlled. Apparently he's getting rewards for everything he does right. So that's kind of nice for Porter, isn't it?
Yeah. So head it to YouTube, or, there's plenty of it online about it.
Yeah.
All right, back to the serious stuff. Politics first up. Now, the New Zealand Labor Party, you've spoken about some of the issues they've had. They've been, wallowing with some pretty horrid polls lately, but things are looking up for them, are they? A bit of a positive blip?
Well, it just goes to show, I was looking across the ditch and I could see that the ALP and, the Nationals and the Liberals, the Nationals and Liberals are kind of getting the pinch on Labor again over in your side of the ditch. And it's been that way over here for a long time. We've had the national government in power, national-led government in power. And the Labor Party, since Helen Clark left, has really struggled to kind of get up there. And certainly after the last election, it's kind of been sitting between just under the 30% support, maybe 32. Occasionally it gets above that, but it's pretty dismal, really. And then all of a sudden, Well, I think we spoke about it on your program a couple of weeks ago, where the new leader, David Shearer, he sacked one of his best and brightest politicians from the front bench, David Cunliffe, who was making great strides in the economics area. And we all just thought, everybody thought, all the pundits, everybody just thought, oh, well, the public will hate that. They'll absolutely cane Shearer. Looks like the party's in disarray, etc., etc. But no, the polls are showing quite a positive blip. It went from 32% up to 35% now. In Labour terms, that's big. And it also eroded off support from National by the look of it. It's down to around 41%. And the Green Party, it picked up to around 13%. So on that poll, I mean, these are only polls, but considering that poll, the pollsters are saying the trend could very well be that the Labour and Green coalition could form a government if an election was held and that kind of support was coming in. It seems like the public, when you look at it, Peter, they looked at Shearer and he's a bit indecisive at times, and he kind of doesn't have that slick political persona, if that makes sense. And the public's kind of been a bit indifferent with him. And they looked at this and they saw him sacking, and all of a sudden I think they've thought, oh, we like that. He kicked the guts out of that guy.
Yeah, so a bit of a show of strength on his part.
Show of strength.
Yeah.
He's even sacked his best. So it's the kind of leader we like. Consequently, John Key's leadership, which has always been huge, it's up over the 50%, which is big here in New Zealand for a leader to enjoy that kind of support. Well, he's down to 39% support for John Key. We've got to say, it's been a dismal year, not so much in the polls for the Nationals, but for John Key and his government over just mishandling things, not getting themselves into a position where they can command policy and et cetera, and always having to explain the latest kind of scandal. It's been, the tenure really of the last year since the elections here. And so it looks like perhaps, if this kind of poll thing is sustained, that John Key's government's got a hard time of it next year, which is the second year in its 3-year term.
Okay. And John Key's appearance with Bear Grylls on stage eating some grubs, probably not going to help him too much. You heard about that?
It's wearing thin. He made an art form in the first 3 years of his prime ministership of getting around to every event where he could smile and look. It wouldn't be just picking up and giving babies the kiss on a campaign trail. He'll be riding on tractors. He'll be doing this. He'll be doing that. Anything to get on the camera and have a bit of a laugh. That's wearing thin, I think. And they've tried all sorts with John Key to make him look more stern. But at the end of the day, it might be that the things that the public really love about your politician end up being the things they hate.
Yeah, indeed. On to other stories. Just a little bit of audio to set the scene on what we're talking about next.
You'll have a tale or two to tell when you come back.
Can you promise that I will come back?
No. And if you do, you will not be the same.
My name is Bilbo Baggins.
Bagginses. What is that, Bagginses? Precious.
I solely wanted to play that just to hear Gollum's voice.
Yes, well, Andy Serkis playing Gollum, isn't he? Something else, that guy.
Yes, indeed. Lord of the Hobbit, The Unexpected Journey, and early reviews starting to come out. Interested that the technology that Peter Jackson's used, the 3D and the 48 frames per second. Some people are getting a little bit queasy after seeing it.
Yes, some reviewers say that they feel, a little bit off after 3 hours of sitting there watching.
Yeah, it's a long film, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a long film. On that point, on the length of it, people are saying that at the end, they would just want more, apart from those who are wanting to go to the toilet and throw up. Then others are saying, like Samantha Hayes from 3 News over here, she's saying that I don't know why people are saying they're feeling queasy. She said didn't sense that at all, but everybody seems to agree that this new technology, it was a gamble for Peter Jackson to use 48 frames per second in 3D. But apparently it's absolutely paying off from the point of view of clarity. Okay. And one of the things that is coming out, like Barry Humphries, we mentioned briefly last week, his performance is something else apparently. And I haven't seen this movie, so we're relying on reviews here. But some of them are saying, like one here, the 3 News one says, Barry Humphries' performance as the Goblin King brings an unhealthy level of disgusting to the role. So it honestly, Peter, it does sound fantastic. And he has apparently this strange thing where his Adam's apple looks like a single giant testicle bopping around on his throat, Reed.
Horrible.
You can imagine Barry Humphries playing up to that kind of physical kind of grossness, you know?
Yes, indeed.
I'm just on that point alone, it'd be worth checking this out over the summer. I just thought, I know you guys over there, and Barry Humphries is a delightful, icon in many ways. He certainly is celebrated in that way over here too. And even for that, it would be worth checking out, I think. But there's, like you put in your clip there, the audio leading into Gollum. There's Martin Freeman playing Bilbo Baggins, the young one, as they go on their journey. And people are saying, that the reviewers in the United States and over here are saying, this is something else. The acting and that just brings it to life. And they're saying, don't expect the heavy darkness of the Lord of the Rings. This is almost like a child's story. Although Peter Jackson then cautions on that, and he says that parents should basically think and choose. Like some kids would love it, and others might be a bit fazed by it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've only got a couple of weeks to wait before it premieres.